Let's talk about books, Shody. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the weird things and the good things that we read. Let's talk about books.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to Adjacent. We are here to do our book club. It's just Shelly and I today, although I've been enjoying having these special guests. What do you think, Shell?
Oh my gosh, yeah. We've had some great guests on book club and our interviews. It's been and all those single ready to mingles and a beautiful life. I mean, it's just been a roller coaster of a month.
It's been really fun. I really love having the book club friends ad. So if you want to sign up for book club to join us, let us know. All you have to do is talk about your book, rate it, but then don't give any spoilers away. Just tell us a little bit about it so that would motivate us and maybe some of our friends out there that they might want to read it as well. Anyway.
But I also, we hear this all the time. Jody is like, we're like, we want to interview you, and they're like, oh no, I don't have that much to say. I can't. I don't have enough to be. I'm not interesting. I don't have enough for an interview, and it's like, yes, you do, but this is an easy way to try it out and practice and be on the podcast and give it a try, and you'll see. Like Katie Daly was on, and she stole the show, and she was awesome, and it was a fantastic interview, and so it's an easy way. And Jordan has joined us for some book clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're down for it.
It's a book club you can't get kicked out of.
Yeah. Yeah. I even think we should invite Kelly and Chelsea to come on and have their own book club where they talk about the night circus.
Absolutely. Please. It's so fun. No, those are really fun. And you're not on the hot seat, really. You're just talking about a book. So if you want to get on our book club journey, it's a great way to kind of dip your toe, your teeny tiny toe into the podcast arena.
Agree. And Jody and I both love book club.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
like it's chill, it's easy, it's fun. There's so much that we could talk about for, I don't know, for hours. Shelly and I could just sit there and talk about, well, guess what? This week and that week and next week and whatever. And it's just a fun way to kind of reconnect.
Yes, and we're glad you're along for the ride. We enjoy it so much. While we have your attention, we just want to point out a way for you guys to support the podcast is by purchasing our merch.
Yeah, Shelly's been working really hard on designing some cool merch. So we have magnets and stickers, and we also have hats, which are really cute. I have to say, Mr. Daniel was wearing his hat around school the other day. It looks really cute.
Yeah, thanks for representing Daniel Roscoe. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and then she's getting some shirts, and then I'm trying to work on a little shot glass deal. People can add it to their little bar.
Yeah, and we're getting some postcards, and so we have packages. Information is in the notes. If you live in Austin, we will hand deliver them to you
right on your front step.
That's right, like Amazon.
Your Amazon delivery people.
That's right. And so and Jared, one of our single ready to mingle, just ordered the supporter package today. And so I know, it was so nice.
And Marianne Sides and Daniel and John and Shelly.
And Larissa.
Thank you guys for supporting us. That's so nice.
Oh, and Kelly Kroll was our first one.
Kelly Kroll. Oh, that's right. In the kitchen. Thank you so much for supporting us. And if that's not your thing, you don't have to. But if you want to just even buy us like margarita at Matt's, you could just send Shelly a little.
Yeah, send us a little gift card to Matt's El Rancho.
Or clothes.
Or clothes. Yeah, that's a great way to support the podcast. Send us gift cards.
Well, or they can send you money and then we can decide how to spend it.
Yeah.
That was one of
So
my favorite things about like interviewing one of our friends recently. We were like, "Will you go and get things done at the, at the beauty salon? What should we do?" And she's like, "You both need eyebrows."
So yeah, I mean, a great way to support the podcast is getting us some eyebrows.
Although Shelly and I always say we have like a phase for podcasting. I'm like, I love it. Nobody has to see us on this thing.
Agreed. Yeah, except for Jordan. Bless her heart. And, yeah, hi Jordan. Um, I'm sure someday she can sell these for $3 and buy herself a beer. The videos.
Yeah, well, maybe you should do it like when you go to church and you do an offering, and then people can say, "This is for Jordan for putting up with your crap."
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all can definitely donate straight to Jordan.
Somebody's segueing this to you.
Exactly. Like, pray for Jordan.
Pray for Jordan. Hilarious.
She is the best.
These are the best.
Well, speaking of Jordan, we, a couple of weeks ago, we dropped an episode where we interview Ashley Manley, the author of Every Beautiful Mile, and Jordan introduced us to her. She was at a book club at a book reading at her local bookstore, and Ashley was speaking, and Jordan was like, I think Ashley would get along very well with Shelly and Jody, and we brought her on the podcast, and she blew her socks off. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into her book, Jody. We discussed it a little bit in the interview with her, but just as a reviewer, I read Every Beautiful Mile. I loved it. I mean, because we met her and I love her energy and everything, it changes the dynamic of it for sure. I mean, I loved the writing of it because she, too many times in a book, a romance book, everybody seems a little too perfect, if you will. And Nell was a hot mess. And she let her be a hot mess. She let her be organic. It felt very organic. I cried. I got emotional when Nell got emotional. I loved her relationship with her kids and her parents and her her parents and her finding her way, and I loved all the very funny relevant conversations that were had through the process, and there's a lot of reference to Harry Potter and different things throughout the book, and I just really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend Every Beautiful Mile, and I can't wait to get Ashley's next book, and she has agreed to come back and talk to us again. I enjoyed the writing. It didn't have, I do think, for those of y'all that are squeamish about the sexy stuff, it wasn't over the top. It was like we had sex, and it was sweet and hot and cute. But it still had a plot. And
I think the thing is, I think when people say that they're squeamish about sex parts in books, it's not so much, I mean, I know there are friends of ours that they're like, bring it, whatever, but I don't think it's so much that it's like the sex parts in books. It's when it becomes a little overplayed or
exactly
at all authentic. And what Ashley Manley does is she makes those intimate moments feel like they're like a real thing. It's not like you're high-fiving yourself in the bathroom after you you're just like, that was awesome, or oh my gosh, that was amazing. But when her new book, when her other book, When Wildflowers Bloom, is out, and she was giving a lot of detail about that book and how she creates her characters. And I like what Ashley was saying about character arcs. It's like sometimes character arcs change the entire character at the end, but there are some characters, it's like you don't want them to lose that essence of themselves because they're doing a whole transformation. It's like, I still want you to be that honorary or that
awkward, like
awkward, whatever. It's like, why do we have to throw away the baby with the bathwater, as they say, when you're like doing a story arc? It's not like when we all change as humans, sometimes you don't lose your inner essence. You can still be yourself and still be, you know how some people go through like religious epiphanies, and then they're just like, okay, I'm going to be perfect, da, 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 da. And then, you know, in books, it makes it seem like, okay, now I'm a perfect being, but then there's still like cussing or acting out. It's like, you don't have to be a perfect human. You can still be yourself. So I do like the way that she develops her characters. It's like, we all have flaws. We all have our, you know, inner demons coming at us. So her interview just was like, it was like I was sitting in the backyard around a campfire talking to a friend about something they really love. And
I know. And she, like when we were talking to her, I felt like it was a friend telling a story. And then, and that's how her book reads. It feels like, hey, I'm Nell. I'm just giving you guys an update. My husband's passed away and my life's gone to shit.
Yes.
And then I go on this adventure, and it, you know, and it just felt organic. It felt very organic. And so I can't wait to read her next book and bring her back on. Her energy is just, she's on Instagram. Ashley Manley writes, and is her Instagram handle, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fun and funny, and
what I love about it is she says, like, the minute you write something, she'll just write you back.
Yeah.
And then she has her third book, Flower and Back book, and I'm excited. A Forever and Back book, and I'm so excited about that one as well. I think it's going to, she's showing me that being an indie writer, there's a voice for everyone. Although it can be expensive. She even goes through, if you haven't heard our interview, she went through like all the steps with how to be an indie writer. And I was like, that is so great that you're giving us this inside scoop. So I loved it. Go back if you haven't listened to it. You're going to be inspired.
Yeah. And I feel like, and we discussed this in her interview, it's like, we were all cheerleaders for each other. Everybody was super positive and cheering each other on, and we want to see her succeed. Just like, you know, everybody we've interviewed, we're like, go, go, go. You know, if you're looking for a partner, we want to help you find a partner. If you are writing books, we want to listen to your books and support that. If you have a story to tell, we want to share it. And so I love the positivity of this whole adventure we're on, Jody. And so yeah. And so I appreciated that, her lean in on that.
Well, and two takeaways. Well, I had multiple takeaways, but I'm going to say this. If you live in a town or in a city and you want to support indie writers, one thing she said is go to your public library and request these books. So request her books. They're When Wildflowers Bloom, Forever Back, Every Beautiful Mile. You are going to give your community some great reading opportunities when they get her books. And then She also told me some camping secrets, which I loved. And she gave us like how to really be that independent writer, how you can do it. But if we all could support like her art, then maybe like we'll get even greater books and best, more of her writing out there. So that was a definite takeaway for me, is like, go to my library and say, can you get these books? I want these books on the stat as fast as possible.
Yeah, and I immediately reached
Yeah,
out
they
to
already did
Michelle.
it.
Yeah, I reached out to Michelle. Well, I had already done the awesome public library, but after meeting her, I reached out to Michelle Cervantes.
Our friend
She runs, she runs Williamson County Library. So, and she said she loves book club. She listens to the pod. Hi, Michelle.
She's another Johnston Ram.
That's right. That's right. So fun.
Yeah.
So I'll keep going, Jody. I read. Oh, Jody, we both read this book. Had very different opinions on it. Sociopath by Patric Gagne.
Yes. So Sociopath is written by a female that her name is Patric. I think it's Gagne or Gagne or
Gagne.
It is a biography. It's a book about the author's life as she is growing up as a sociopath. This is not a loose term that she's given herself. This is a diagnosed, just, I guess, what do you think? Mental health diagnosis. So what did you think of the book?
Being surrounded by people with mental health issues, I appreciated her journey. I know she said sociopath. If anybody needs a drinking game, sit down with this book, and every time she says sociopath, you will probably need to check yourself into rehab, because she says it a lot. She says it a lot in the book. And I know that drove you nuts, but sociopath was not part of the DSM when she was young. And she went on this self journey trying to figure it out. Why did she act this way? Why did she have these behaviors? And I love the self-reflection. And then she gets in relationships, and she, sets up like parameters with her relationships to kind of like, hey, I'm gonna do something wacky today. Here's a little thing. Here's a little flag that I'm gonna do something crazy. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. And I love the self-regulation on it, and I love the honest conversation about it. I thought it was so odd. She was so open about it to people professionally and socially, and people leaning in on it and taking advantage of it. And I don't know if you deep dove. She talks about a musician that when she was dating her now husband, that kind of swung in and kind of tried to lean in with her. Did you look up who that musician might have been?
Who is it?
Okay, who do you think it is?
Well, you say first.
No, I already know. I looked it up.
Is it the one that everybody sleeps with?
Yes. John Mayer. It's allegedly John Mayer.
Yeah.
And
I didn't want to say it out.
Yeah. And so it's allegedly John Mayer. I also, for a while, the way she was talking, she kind of hints at a song. And I don't know if y'all know.
Is the Wonderland?
No, it's February. Come February, we're
well, I'm thinking like, so when people say they've slept with John Mayer, I don't think it's a big accomplishment. It's like when people are saying, I'm taller than you, when kids are like, I'm taller than you. I'm like, hopefully this isn't your biggest accomplishment because I'm only 5.
Well, I don't think she was taking it as I don't think she was saying it was an accomplishment
No,
at
but
all.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know if anybody would find that as like a brag. I just think
I think it's a brag. He is an amazing, talented musician.
I just
I mean, I would not kick John Mayer out of bed.
well, evidently nobody has.
That's great. I think he is like a real good love maker.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he gets all that loving for nothing. I think he brings it.
I don't know. Is he on your list? Is he on your laminated list?
And I mean, no, but I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it. I get the draw. I don't blame. I don't think anyway, in her book, I think she was baffled by him. I mean, she never ever names him in social media or anything. This is all assumed. Um, you know, I I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem with being named. He's been named by everybody else. But
Well, actually, no, because Sheena Shea on Vanderpump Rules said that she slept with him too, and he said no, that didn't happen. So he does not like for people to say they did if they didn't.
okay. Okay, so I'm sorry.
No, I think it's smart that she didn't. Also, should you name names? That's kind of name dropping.
Yeah, well, she didn't. She didn't name it. It's people are making assumptions and
Okay.
stuff. I don't think she was waving the flag as like, hey, hey, hey. And I don't even know if they had sex. I just think he was very attracted to her, and he just hung around for a long time.
Well, that's what I'm
And
saying. Okay, this is when narcissism and sociopaths kind of like intertwine. It's like, I mean, I think sometimes narcissists and sociopaths can be somewhat similar. Sometimes sociopaths can be a little bit smarter than narcissists in a way. But I feel like that's the vibe I was getting. Like she was kind of thinking like, while I was reading the book, I read it that she was kind of really proud, a little like overly inflating herself at times. I don't know. I think the thing I had problems with in the book is that every other page is like, I'm a sociopath. I'm a sociopath. I'm a sociopath. It's like, I just found it to be a little overwhelming and I didn't understand why she had to say it at every page. I'm like, we used to teach kids, how to write. You write it, but you don't say it. So you give a lot of detail around it, but you don't have to just come out and straight up say it. It's almost like she was finding a little pride in being a sociopath. I felt her vulnerability about it, of course, but I also feel like there's this like almost like giant flag of I'm a sociopath. I'm a sociopath. It's like, okay, I understand you've already said it, but I also felt like even though it was written as a biography, and I know that there's a lot of people that remember a lot of details, I just felt like the detail orientedness of it felt a little more like a story in her head, a fictional story with so many details that I was like, I mean, would you really remember it to that degree of detail if it was such a minute thing?
well, I love your perspective, and I think it comes from your profession that you're seeing it from a different side. A lot of people that I know that have mental health issues can't even recognize that they have them. So I appreciate the fact. I'm sorry.
She recognized it.
She recognized it, and I appreciated that she recognized it. And so I was celebrating, hey, there's a problem and you're trying to find a solution and figure out how to function in society. And you recognize this, very early on. And I assume that there were therapy notes and stuff like that, so that might account for why she was so detail oriented, or that these were primary memories because they were so dramatic. I mean, just getting up in the middle of the night and walking home as a young person and stuff like that. But I understand your perspective because you deal with it from a different side. And
I think also for me with the with this level of knowledge, I understand, like, she would do things that we talked about with Katie Daly that I see with some of my students. It's sometimes they want to see a reaction in someone else so that they can understand how to react. So they will do things like, if they don't understand feelings to the full extent that they think they should, which shows a lot of like introspection on their side, but it's like they will do something to trigger another student, watch their reaction, and then they'll be like, okay, that's how I'm supposed to react if I'm scared, or that's how I'm supposed to act if I'm excited, or, so I understand that part. It's more of the, when she gets into some of the adult portions of her book that I was like, okay, this is, you've taught yourself so many different things, but then you're doing things that you seem to know what the outcome's going to be, and it's going to cause distress in others. And I know that that's part of being
part of the role,
sociopath. But I'm also like, it's going to cause you so much more drama. And maybe as the narcissist, you feed off of the drama. So it's kind of hard to know, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg. Anyway, it's well written. I was not offended by it. I just don't think you have to announce for every other page that you're a sociopath. That's the whole title of the book. And so I think that when you give, it's like when O.J. Simpson said, how I would have done it, or whatever in his book title. I just feel like it's an eye-catching title that people are they're going to gravitate to. So again, it feeds into our sociopathic ways in that it's like, oh, I'm going to put this on the title of my book because it's going to draw people in.
Oh yeah, and her picture and everything.
That's so cute. Every kid's picture in that stage was like that. Now I see kids come in and you can't. It's like they're so poised for their picture.
Yeah, they come in prepared, because we were all scarred by those pictures. That's awesome. The other thing, so they didn't have, sociopath was not part of the DSM when she was younger, and that is so. I mean, that whole process was very interesting to me, and how much her diagnosis mirrors autism. And I was like, well, I mean, a lot of people with autism do those things, and how did they tell the difference on, how does the DSM tell the difference between those? What is the marker
when they're getting diagnosed as a child or in middle school or high school? I think a lot of it is, unfortunately, it's not an exact science for sure. I've seen kids that I was like, oh, they're getting identified AU, but then they might actually fall under more have an emotional disability, or they have an anxiety disorder, or they have a speech delay. I'm like, sometimes it's about how you fill out the paperwork to some degree. but with it's not an exact science.
It's not. It's so subjective.
It can be very subjective. You're right. It can be very subjective.
Very
Or
subjective.
parent, or if caregivers or parents are wanting to lean more towards the AU diagnosis versus like a mood disorder, then sometimes there can be a way to fill out the paperwork, or kids might present one way at a younger age and then it develops into something later. I've seen kids that have come in with an emotional disability, but then later on you realize that it's autism, and then vice versa. So I've seen it both ways. Sometimes kids will present very differently and in different scenarios. So it is not an exact science. I mean, the human brain is so undiscovered, in so many ways. So I just have a lot of empathy. I have a lot of empathy for her and what she was going through. I just thought the book was written in a way that I was like, like it was almost like, and sociopaths will feel this way, a little, kind of glamorizing some of it in a way, but then also showing the sad side of it too, for sure.
Yeah.
So it was a very well written book. I mean, I like her voice. I like what she has to say. I think it's a very good read, and I would recommend it to anyone.
Yeah. And it's getting a lot of press, and so we both read it. We both read it. I also read The Briar's Club from Kate Quinn, and it's a historic fiction. And I mean, she's a great writer. However, there's a group of women living in the Briar's Club, and they all are dealing. Each of them has something major historically happening. One was a lesbian, and this is a timepiece, Jody. So one was a lesbian, one was learning about birth control, and they just hit all of the female things, all of the female movement at the time is all happening in one house.
So they're like the 60s?
Yes. And it was just, I think late 50s, early 60s. And it was, but it was all of the female movement. There was a woman dealing with it in the house, and it was just like, that's ridiculous. That's insane. There was somebody having in a interracial relationship. Somebody's a lesbian. Somebody's another one's birth control, the military, single mom. Mental health. It just was like, okay, so you're representing this part of this movement, you're representing this one, and it was just too much, and I just was like, I just don't like the spoon feeding of books. So I would give
did you feel like it was Little Women from the 1800s taken to the Little Women from the 60s?
I mean, I love Little Women.
The next level. I was talking about a lot of controversial things back then.
Sure. I'm gonna give Little Women a little more grace than that. But no, this was just, I don't know. I mean, Kate Quinn's books are usually pretty good, and I'm just like, I mean, did you rush something out? I don't get it. It was a hard one. And then I read Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas.
I want to read that.
Yeah, so we'll just wait until you read it and we'll discuss it.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be more excited about it because it's murdery. And so very, very, very twist and turn and blah blah blah. So I can't wait to hear your perspective of it. I've currently just started Adam Grant's book, Originals, and I'm very excited about that. And so we'll discuss that next week.
So I read The Senator's Wife. So it was good. I liked it. I thought it was entertaining and was something that there was one thing about Liv Constantine, she does a lot of twists and turns. And so you're not really expecting what happens to happen, of course. So you start to just see that it's almost like Liv Constantine loves to put a twist in there. And sometimes it doesn't, there's some gaps as to how we got there, So basically, these two people got together from Washington, D.C. One's a philanthropist and one is a senator, and their spouses died in a very tragic death, which was very odd. And I couldn't foresee that happening. I know people die out of, acts of passion and things like that, but it went oddly in a direction. And then it takes you down these twists and turns and how these two, they end up getting together, the two people that lost their spouses, and just what happens in the end. And it was not unforeseeable. You could see it coming because there were just a lot of things at play, but you also were like, how did this happen at the beginning? I think that was my weirdest thing. I was like, how did this tragedy happen at the beginning? So it was fun. It wasn't like my favorite book. Her second book, however, the next Mrs. Parrish, I found really fun. It really was about more bad relationships, people who are kind of bad pickers, but also have some, a lot of domestic violence and controlling and narcissism. And so, having a sociopath that lives with you, and how somebody tries to escape that. And then there's just this tangled web of craziness that happens. But her writing is really fun. It's really engaging. The characters are, I think it's really funny how Liv paints Southern characters. She definitely thinks that we are really dumb. I don't know why. She thinks that we're all walking around like, not that Dr. Phil's dumb, but you know how he says things like, if you lead a goat to water, then he's going to just trample in the lake. Like she does a lot of that kind of weird stuff of like talking about like Southern people, like we're just real stupid. Or one of in The Senator's Wife, one of the characters is like kind of, she's Southern and kind of a drunk, and she just shops and drinks all day, and she just talks like this, and you could just tell like she's like, and then in the next Mrs. Parrish, she's more they have people from Dallas who are like, they say those like colloquialisms, if that's how you say it, where it's like those Southern drawl little sayings of the South that I've never heard anybody say in my whole life, and I'm from here. And these people were from Dallas. Oh, but the cool thing about the next Miss Parrish's Wife is part of the crime happens in Gunnison, and then in
Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they go like they're in Texas, and then they're they're all over the place over in the Carolinas. But it's fun. It's a fun story. The next Mrs. Parrish is definitely a sociopath, and they go down the road with that. So I guess I just read a bunch of books about sociopaths. Of course.
Perfect timing for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I just was like, okay, well, these are very interesting books. I don't know how I happened upon them. Shelly, I need to tell you, there is a great Netflix documentary you should watch. You're gonna love it. It's called
Tell me.
The Murder of McNair, and he was a quarterback for the Houston Oilers.
Oh my gosh.
And spoiler alert, he gets murdered, but it was just really sad, and I remember him. And so it goes into a bunch of the history of the Houston Oilers, which I think you would really, really like that. You would love.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you would love the McNair.
Okay, can't wait.
Yes.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Steve McNair, he was a really great quarterback, and he came from really humble beginnings. There's tragedy, but what he did with the Houston Oilers, and then he went on to, follow them. But his old coaches speak about it. I don't know. It's just very, very well written. Very well documented. So I would watch it. You might really like it because it talks about the Houston Oilers a lot.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited. I have a Netflix recommendation.
Okay.
From my boyfriend, Tom Hanks. It is a show called Here, and it is a piece of land from the beginning of time through the dinosaurs and through the ice storm. What's it called? The ice age. And then through the through nature and everything rebuilding, and then through Native Americans living on the land. And then there's a house built on it, and it shows the families, all the different families living through the house. And it's based off of a book. It's so well done, and they keep going back and forth in time, which I usually don't like. But the way it's handled is really, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Just everything that happened on that piece of land. It was a very interesting perspective of a film. So it's called Here, but Tom Hanks and Robin Wright pen. So if you're into artsy movies and stuff like that, I'll have to. I think the book is called Here as well. I might have to go back and read the book because I didn't know until the end that it was based on a book. But and I really enjoyed it. So
I love that. I love books like that. But they're so sad too, right?
Well, and just the thinking of everything that happened on this piece, like where our houses are, the whole history of this land. Like right where you are right now is like who lived here, what has gone through that. And that's so interesting. Like Kate across the street, before Marla passed away, she was saying that's Kate across the street. That was the house I grew up in.
What?
And yes, Marla Codrington grew up in Kate's house.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy? And that's a small history. Luckily we have some older neighbors, so they can tell us, like, they've shared different things that have happened in the neighborhood. And it's like, this is, we have this rock wall in our backyard that we love so much. And we were like, maybe that was from a fort, a military fort or whatever. But then we talked to the neighbors, and it's just how somebody's parents discipline their kids. So, but we thought it was historic.
Oh, they would make them stack the rocks up.
Yeah, and so it was just he had
Yes.
yeah, there was severe ADHD. He was like, I was so hyper, and so anyway, I mean, you never know the history of land. And I just heard that I don't know if you saw this on Instagram or TikTok. Well, sorry, Jody, I didn't mean to bring it up.
I know, I'm so sad.
Jody deleted her TikTok account when she thought it
Stupidly.
when she thought it was done.
I was like, and then everybody's like, wakes up the next morning, they're like, it's back. And I'm like, I can't get it back. I'm so mad at myself.
Well, on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, there's a lady that she, had a garden, had a victory garden, and she had a carrot, and she pulled it out and had a diamond wrapped around the carrot, a diamond ring wrapped around the carrot. So it's like somebody lost it at some point, and, and the carrot grew through it. No. This was on, she shared it on TikTok. I mean, it could have been in Switzerland or whatever.
I don't think so. I think, well, you're a lie. She's a liar. I'm just kidding. Now everybody's pulling up a bunch of carrots trying to find a diamond ring.
Oh my God.
Carrots and carrots.
Carrot and yeah, you get it. And
She's not a liar.
Well, I mean,
gems.
She doesn't work at gems.
One time, Shelly and Penny, was it Tammy and we all went to Jim's where Gary Reed, that's his favorite restaurant. And I was like, hey, do you have a charger for can I charge my phone? Because I couldn't relax until I could charge my phone so I could call an Uber home. And they were like, no, we don't. And I was like, they're lying. Surely they have a charger.
And it changed her whole mood for the rest of the night. She was like,
it ruined my mood.
It was like, you're a liar. And she was just like not having it. She just like,
Shelly just sent me a picture of the carrot with the diamond ring. I was thinking like, oh, maybe, I don't know. That carrot looks like it has
bulbous.
It's on a cock ring.
Yeah.
Around it.
Wrong show, Jody. This isn't single resident eagle. Anyway, that was all over the social media. No, I think we should leave it in because that's exactly what it looks like.
I think somebody was working in the garden and they lost because carrots don't, like, that's not going to be like a million years old, a 1,000,000-year-old diamond ugly ring. That's not even a ring. Somebody just lost it in the garden while they were putting seeds in, and then it just grew through it. They're like,
I mean, yeah, it may have been intentional just for press. Who knows? Who knows? Nowadays, people are so unique.
I will say that picture makes me want to scrub those people's. They're like all caked with dirt. But you know what? That just means you love the earth.
That's right. Okay, well, coming up this week we have my niece, Adjacent Littles is dropping tomorrow. That you get to meet Catherine, and then we have Laurel coming on for Adjacent Givers on Sunday,
All
And
of them are amazing. Both of these people are amazing.
yeah, and then we have our beautiful, flexible friend Leticia Marquez in our interview.
Letty the Splits Marquez.
The pretzel.
One of a kind. I love
She is
her.
she is one of a kind, and I love her so much. I love you, Jody. Go get some sleep.
Texas.
Yeehaw!